Funding now on Indiegogo, it's Shadowbinders, our second chance offer to get 2 hardcovers of our classic webcomic delivered to your door. Steampunk, fantasy, and romantic comedy from Clownfish Comics. Go to Indiegogo, check out the link in the description below. Now on with the video. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the Snyder Cut again, but we're going to talk about it in regards to its viewership numbers. Apparently, the media is running with Wonder Woman 84 being the bigger hit than the Snyder Cut, and we have theories about that.
Right, plus they're tying. Well, I have some stuff I tied in Disney Plus as well.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that and how the Falcon the Winter Soldier was actually beaten by the Snyder Cut. So that means Falcon the Winter Soldier is like way below Wonder Woman 84, and also Disney is jacking its prices up because of course they are. Of course they are. So we're going to talk about the streaming wars here on Clownfish TV. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 183,000 subs. Hoping eventually to get 200,000.
Yeah, we've been sitting at 183 for a while.
We've been parking it here, so hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is up to shenanigans. So I guess where do we want to go with this first? We want to talk about.
Well, let's start with the Disney stuff first. That makes sense. Okay, so before we got the numbers on the Snyder Cut, what they had put up, Disney had put up that, oh my God, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was our biggest debut premiere weekend ever. It beat WandaVision and it beat The Mandalorian Season 2. Well, yes and no. Because what happened is, according to Sampa TV, which I guess they look at household viewership for these streaming services, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier's debut weekend came in at 1.7 million households, making it the most watched series premiere for Disney Plus for a weekend. Okay, that's relevant. WandaVision was 1.6 million. I never did see the number for Mandalorian. However, when you actually look at the actual premiere, which is the Fridays,
right.
There were 759,000 U.S. households that turned into the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay. That's up from the 655,000 households that tuned in for WandaVision. But they forgot to mention that when Mandalorian Season 2 came out, on the Friday premiere, it had about 1 million households. So Disney was deliberately trying to rearrange it's for the whole weekend, not just for the debut day. To make sure that Falcon and the Winter Soldier outperformed even The Mandalorian.
So they're massaging the numbers. They basically, we've talked about this with Disney, and a lot of companies do this. It's not just Disney.
It's not massaging numbers so much as it is picking and choosing from a certain point of view.
Right. Which is your truth?
Right, because right now we're trying to
truth.
talk down The Mandalorian because he getting a lot of trouble with it with the firing of Gina Carano. So we had to make it sound like WandaVision and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier are outperforming it. So over the whole weekend they're claiming it did, but if you actually look at the debut day, it didn't.
Yeah. Here's the weird thing though. They're picking up more subscribers, but the viewership for their must-see shows is dropping.
People are pointing that out. They said that their engagement is down compared to HBO Max, who has far fewer subscribers than Disney Plus.
Yeah, so it's not really even a fair comparison because last time I heard, like, HBO Max is under 20 million subs, and Disney Plus is supposed to be like almost 100 million or something.
No, we're talking globally. I think you're talking globally. HBO Max is like 50-some million.
Okay,
or
but
something.
still, that's like less.
There's a big difference, and HBO Max is still outperforming the streaming of these shows. Now, that was the first thing I was going to mention. We're going to go to that in a second. The other thing, we'll go on to the Snyder Cut next. So I also pointed out in here about the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut, they're like, oh, it didn't do as well as Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there's a few reasons for that.
Yeah. So, a couple things here. One, we're talking about a 4-year-old movie, right? A lot of people.
And it was a 4-hour time sink.
4-hour time
People
sink.
were breaking it up by chapters, and they might only watch one chapter every few days.
The original version was not received very well.
Right.
To put it mildly, a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people might not know what the difference is. They're probably thinking it's like Lord of the Rings extended edition, like, oh, it's the same shit, just longer. And I hated the first load, so I'm not watching this.
Right, and Wonder Woman 1984 came out on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And people hadn't been able to go to the movies, at that point. A lot of people weren't, and they had that theatrically released as well, or whatever. But people weren't allowed to go, or going out as often because of the pandemic. So it was the first big, highly anticipated anything that dropped that they could get to. But that fell off a cliff pretty quickly. It did pretty well this opening weekend, but then people were like, "Oh, this isn't that great," and it kind of went,
kind of tell you about flushing that goodwill, because the first Wonder Woman was, I thought was
fantastic.
I thought it was a really good movie, and then we were actually looking forward to 84.
I was so excited,
and it was like, what the hell? We're talking like Superman 3 levels of bad.
I was like, this is not good. So there's a lot of things where it's like apples to oranges. Now Wonder Woman did 2.2 million on its opening viewership on opening weekend, where the Snyder Cut did, I think, was 1.8. Did 1.8. So, that's the thing here too, is, they both drew big audiences, but like you said, the Snyder Cut's 4-hour long show. And a lot of people I've talked to were like, well, I'm only watching it in chunks. So the opening weekend, they might only watched one chunk of it.
Yeah, and again, we're talking Christmas weekend. A lot of people have off. It's holiday. It's a lot of people have off, and they've got time, and it's a 2-hour movie. And still, 1.8 million households watched it compared to
1.7. On 1.7 million watched Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, so and they're with way more subs.
Yes, and 1.6 watched WandaVision. So here's the thing: it's like, the DC shows, movies in this case, are trumping the Disney. Oh, I know. Okay,
you can't say that word on YouTube.
Remember that used to mean it was actually a word.
Yeah. Right.
Or beating. We'll put it that way. The Marvel stuff. Now, like I said, granted, a couple of them are movies where Marvels are shows, and people might feel like they don't have to watch them. But it is interesting because HBO Max has way fewer subscribers with those numbers.
So, yeah, I mean, that shows that the engagement is way up. And I'll be honest, HBO Max has more original content than Disney Plus does now. They have a lot of new stuff on there all the time. There are new shows and new movies and stuff on HBO Max. Not showing for HBO Max. I'm just saying, Disney has not been good at creating a lot of new must-see content. They're trickling out the Marvel shows one a week, but like one new episode of a show once a week compared to like what Netflix is doing is pathetic.
Well, that's what I'm saying here too. That might play into it as well. People often are just wait till the show's completely done and then they go and watch it. So you might not have as big a turnout on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier or WandaVision or even the Mandalorian at first, because they might be watching at the end. But if you're going by apples to apples with the numbers they're given, and you have to compare it by that, it does appear that the DCEU stuff is outperforming the MCU.
It does. It does appear to be the case. But now Disney, because they got to raise some more money to make some more shows.
This was not a new announcement. They made this announcement a while ago. But what is interesting to me is that they're going to jack it up $1. And hurry. If you get in by the 26th, you can lock it in at the current subscription rate. So what's that going to do? To save, $12 a year, people are going to rush to go and subscribe now while they can get it locked in at that price. Mm-hmm. Why would that matter? Well, because the end of their quarter is the end of March. So they said they want to get as much on the books as they can for their investor call. So let's hurry up and put it at the end of the month. Say, if we're going to grandfather you in if you're one of the other people that got in before for $6.99. Hurry. So all people rush to go get it to save themselves $1 a month. And then they're going to be like, oh, look at our numbers. Oh my gosh, we had record subscriptions in March. What the heck happened? It must be the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
We fired Gina Carano and all these people joined Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's got to be because of that. So that I want to mention that too. I also want to mention you're going to keep seeing these increases hit. If it goes by Hulu, when Disney had ownership stake of Hulu, the prices jumped, significantly over the course of 2 or 3 years.
Oh my God. So we did the cord cutting thing, right, a couple of years ago, because we're like, for all the live TV we watch, we do not need to pay for DirecTV. And so we got Hulu, and it started out, it was only like, what was it, $30 or $40 a month?
Something like that.
And now it's like almost $70 a month.
It just kept going up. And they were talking like big increases that were not even a year apart.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen. Get you hooked, get you needing to use it, and then we're going to start jacking up the price. I'm sure it's going to be, you know, a larger increase as time goes on. They're raising the packages too, you know, the bundles. So this all happens at the end of the quarter.
Yep.
You know, there's a reason, like, well, that's a really odd date from March 20. You know, they're going to switch the new price to March 26th. Not really.
Gives them time to process the payments, get it on the books until the end of the month.
Exactly.
Yep.
It makes complete, you're like, why not to start the new payment with a new month? That's why.
So yeah, you're going to see the sudden spike like, oh my God, everybody. But yeah, they're going to have to raise the price. We even said when they announced it at $6.99, it's like, guys, there is no way this is sustainable. When they're going to be doing these shows, they're going to cost as much as movies, you know, for one episode of a show. There's just no way. And, you know, so now you see what the long-term plan was. Now, you know, they did not count on the pandemic. Obviously, they didn't anticipate that when they started. But so now I think you're going to see the price get raised faster and faster and faster, or they're just going to start, you know, throwing these Premier Access movies at you. I'm waiting for them.
That's what they're going to do, yeah.
I'm waiting for them to have the season pass.
I still think they're going to do something like that.
Yeah. You know, be like, oh, you want to watch the entire third season of The Mandalorian? You want to binge it? Okay, $60. You can watch the whole thing now, or you can wait 2 months to watch it. What do you want to do?
Yeah, but the thing is that is going to be like everybody's going to leak everything. So I don't know how they'll do that. But I had to think. I was laughing because when we were going to get ready to do this video, I caught the whole March thing in the end of the fiscal quarter, and it was funny because you know that moment in Return of the Jedi where they're up against the bunker and he's like, you know, in front of Leia and she's got the gun and he's like, you know, he's like, I love you, and she, or whatever he said when she pulls the gun out. That's what it was like when I brought that up. This is the way Kneon was like. You know, because he was like,
the numbers make me hot.
You know, you're just like, oh, that made me happy. Anyway.
Yeah, it was a good catch because I wasn't even. Yeah, and that does give him a couple days to process the payments and get it on the book. Disney. You think you're sneaky, but you're not. You're really not that sneaky.
No.
Anyway, very interesting to see this though. It does tell me that, you know, if you're comparing apples to apples, more of the user base of HBO Max is interested in the DC stuff than the user base of Disney is in the Marvel stuff. That's what it seems like. That's my takeaway.
I mean, just from the numbers we have, and they're like, oh well, you know, for all the covering this, Wonder Woman outperformed the Snyder Cut. Well, you know, I'm looking at this like, but then Wonder Woman outperformed the Snyder Cut and all the Marvel shows in the debut weekend. Yeah,
so that's very interesting. Again, with like probably less than half the subs, you know.
So it is something. It is something.
All right. So we're going to wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.